What if I tell you, let's go and draw sandhill cranes? Will you feel like you're up to the opportunity to do it, or you will feel intimidated? I know many of you, just to hear sandhill cranes, are going to say, oh, I don't know how to draw them. I've never done it. I'm going to show you. So stick with me and I will show you how easy you can sketch sandhill cranes. And just about any large bird for that matter. Or any animal for that matter. Hello, I'm Angel Mercado with Senior Art Strokes, a channel made just for you, the beginner and the senior who is looking forward to take another extra step in their artwork, improve their skills. So let's talk about sandhill cranes. What you need to do, you need to change two things to make it easier on yourself. One is forget about drawing and think about sketching instead. Okay? Sketching will give you the freedom to try to go with the flow, to experiment, not to be afraid of making mistakes, because that is what sketching is all about. It's just to practice. We're not going to get a drawing out of it. We're going to sketch. So therefore, that little word is going to change, the way you look at your drawing. In this case, at your sketch, because you're not going to be asking yourself for too much perfection. Forget perfection. Here we are just learning. Sketching will lead you into that, believe me. And then the other one is, instead of drawing sandhill cranes, just draw shapes. That's it. When you're going to see, when we start drawing sandhill cranes, you'll see that the body of the first one I draw almost looks like a lemon, because it has a kind of shape at that angle, how it was drawn. So I'm going to show you 3 ways of how we can draw these sandhill cranes. So before we go though, down below there's a link for a free class that I'm offering you, and it's about how to start compositions, how to start a drawing. Because I remember when I was young, when I was new at this, it was very difficult for me. It was kind of confusing at times. How do I start a drawing? How composition works? Well, once you start doing this, little by little, you're going to be, you're going to be reading more, you're going to be looking at more videos, you're going to be learning, you're going to be practicing more. So you're going to be educating yourself about this, and before you know it, you're going to be coming up with your own compositions. So you have to start somewhere, So be patient there and give yourself that break. So you're not drawing, you're sketching. And you're not drawing sandhill cranes, you're drawing shapes. And get a little class that I told you there's down below in the description area, and practice it. That is what it's meant to do. So, and visit Senior Art Strokes for more videos. I have a lot of them there that they're going to help you. So now let's go and see how we can draw dancing sandhill cranes, and why we're dancing, why we're drawing it too. I will tell you that on the other side. Let's go to the drawing board. Okay, so today we're going to sketch this sandhill cranes, and remember we were talking about it, how we need to look for the, first of all, before we start, I kind of like to do a little frame here, draw one, that way I know my boundaries and I'm not going to go out of sight from you. Plus this will give me a nice border area. And I know it looks a little bit like this to you, but believe me, it's because of the camera angle. I just don't seem to be getting it right today, so this is gonna have to do for today. So we were talking about first thing to do. We're not going to draw, we're going to sketch. And how true is that? We will sketch before we draw, because this way we can experiment. Okay. Today I'm using charcoal pencil. I'm going to use the medium, but if you can use the soft, it will be good, because if you have a heavy hand, the soft might be better because it will be easier to erase. So the first thing we have to do is just kind of like find the big shapes. Okay, and as you can see in the drawing, here's one big shape, is body of this crane on the left side. So that is what I'm going to sketch, but I'm going to do a little bit smaller because we have two cranes to, you know, they're dancing, so we need to do two to tango. You can't dance with just one. So here's my very first shape. You see, doesn't have to be anything complicated. Try to make it the simplest way possible and very light. That way we can move this, we can erase it if we have to. Okay, so we have to exaggerate a little bit the movements here. So what I want to do, look, it's almost like doing a U, but we are going to go and make this line. You see, this shape like this from here, and this line, and do a light. That is the key to it. Okay, so from here, since on this kind of like point a little bit down, you see that, right? So we're going to make the face also pointing down a little bit, and it's just an oval. That's all it is to it. And from here we're going to have the beak there. Okay, and now from here, from about right in here, you see, from about right in here, where about the jawline comes, you know, and the face, right, that's where we're going to start drawing the other part of the thickness of the neck. And it's going to go right here to the body of the crane. So as you can see, we already kind of have the shape of the Sandhill crane. We have an idea of what it's going to look like. Okay. Okay. So now, where the legs going to go? Remember, these are dancing, so they're going to go in different directions. For instance, here's going to be one like this, and just a little triangle will do. And then that one's going to come out of here, okay? And it's going to have a little bit of a different angle. That way, okay? And here, what we're going to do, we're just going to kind of follow this. Think about this, goes in the middle like this, follows it there. And from here, we are going to make it too long, about here. And here is going to go straight down. Same thing with this, we're going to follow this one. As you can see, the angle varies. And from here is going to, oops, about there, and from here is going to have the other leg. So there you go, you can kind of see now the position of this one. Okay, and we'll deal with the wings a little bit later. Now let's go here, and we're going to do the other Sandhill crane. This other one is going to be kind of like looking up. So when I look at the shape, this is what I see. I see this one here, and I see this right here, like this, like that. Okay, like that. And from here, we're going to have the same. We're going to have this one though. It's going to be looking up a little bit. So we are going to go all the way there. See, just that line. And since this one's looking up, we are going to draw this oval, just like this, looking up. Okay, and the beak somewhere in there. remember, these are dancing, so they're in a position where we can exaggerate a little bit. So I bring this one from the beat down like this, and here, you kind of follow parallel to it, but you start getting a little bit wider. You see, wider to about here. So we walk about there, and from here we're going to go like this, like that. So this is going to give a little more movement. You see, we're playing with the angles here. It's not just straight angles. When you have angles, you can convey the movement better. And this one, of course, is going to have a leg right there, and it's going to have a leg right here. There. This leg there. And even this, when I'm drawing this, I'm drawing it very light, because I can move this anytime I want to. Everything that I'm drawing here is drawn very light. There, and we are going to cross this leg to about there. So there we go. We have the basic two shapes for the cranes we're drawing. Okay. So now let's go and try to draw the wings. Okay. So for this one, the wings going to come to from about here, and it's going to go up like this and to about here like this. Okay. And here you're going to pretty much go like that. Okay. And of course the wing on the other side behind it is going to kind of do something similar to this one, like this. So we kind of follow the same kind of angles, you see. That's what we do. And of course, now we still see part of the body of the crane there. Okay, so on this one we're going to do the same thing. From here we're going to bring the wing up to about here, and we're going to make it kind of like wobble, curve a little bit, to give it more movement to the wing. And same thing is going to come all the way to about here. Okay, that is one. So, and here we're going to see part of the tail of this Sandhill, and right in here we're going to see the wing and the back, right? That's going to go like this, and it's going to curve also a little bit. There. Coming towards the body of the crane. And this is the back of the body of the crane. Oh, I'm sorry, this is the wing of the crane there in the front. So if you want to, I'm going to do this just to, it will help you more. I'm just going to erase this line here, because it's the body line, so we don't need that one. And I'm going to erase it also here. And you see how easy it takes very little effort to move these lines. Did that too long? There. Okay, so that's about all the erasing I want to do right now. And I'm going to go and start developing this crane. So the next thing I'm going to do, the cranes have and on top of the head, they have about half of the crane like this. It's going to be dark. The upper part it's kind of like a deep maroon kind of color. You can call it wine if you want to, but it's that kind of color, deep. So, and it's dark, so we are going to shade it, add tone to it. That way it will look like. And right here, right about where the line of the dark tone goes, that's where the eye is at, like that. And here we're going to go like that. And we're going to go like that. There. You can outline this a little bit more just to make the head more visible. There. So now we're going to go and do the same thing with the other one. This one is looking up a little bit, so we're going to have this line looking up, big, open, and from here it's going to go there. And here, same thing, we're going to draw the dark area, the head, and the eye is going to go about right in here. There. And remember, these are dancing, so that's what they're doing. These babies wanna show what they have, what they can do. Right below here is going to be a little bit of a tongue because it's not going to get a lot of sun. And the sun, let's say, is gonna come in like in this direction. So all the underneath part, we're going to give it a little light tone. And you see how light it is. When I say light tone, I do mean it light. But this one's going to cover the legs, part of the rear body, the legs. And here we're just going to go and zigzag this. Look. For the wings, we're just going to go like this. And these wings, they spread apart a little bit. They do have a pattern, but when they flip so fast and you don't really see that much of a pattern. And here, of course, it's going to have a little bit of a shadow area there, casting it into the body, right, like that. And of course, this part of the wing is going to be casting a little bit of a shadow onto the body also, there. Okay. So we're going to, this is the rear end of the body. Alright, so that's good. So let's go and work on this other one. See, I kind of like to work in both at the same time. That way I have a better sense of what I need to do maybe. I find this a little bit too, I kind of like it better straight. Yeah. There. You see how easy we can change something, you can change your mind. It doesn't take much. It's that easy. And just do it loose. That's the main thing. We want to get into the flow with the thing, into the movement. Well, the sun's coming in this direction, as we say, so part of this face is going to be a little bit on the shade. Part of the neck is going to be on the shade also, up to there. And here, same thing, the face, the hair is going to cover a little bit of the neck, like that. This area here is away from the sun, so all of this area is going to be under shade, so we're going to do it. Add tone to the paper. Also the legs, both of them are going to be in the shade, so I'm going to add tone to them, and you see, remember how light I'm going. Very light. And also for the body, I'm going to turn this one up a little bit more, exaggerate it more, like this. You have to get a little more movement, more rhythm to it. Okay. And we have the wings. They're going to be here, then the other wing's going to be here. I'm going to darken this one a little bit since it's in the back. Let's say it's a little bit shady there. And you'll come to about here like that. And of course all of the side of the wing is going to be under shadow. There, like that. And this wing is going to be reflecting some shadow in lower part of the body, like this. And remember, here's when I say we can give ourselves, license to be an artist, just to try something different if we want to. Okay, so what we're going to do here, when you want to make the wings look like they're really flapping, they're really using them, just do lines like this. Just don't try not to get too static with this. You see, when you do them like this, you're kind of showing the movement. Like, oh, this thing is really moving the wings around. Just by doing that, okay? Just don't be so, we don't have to be so precise in everything. No, we're doing some kind of art form here. That's what we want to create, so that's what we're doing. There. Here I'm going to go a little bit darker in this area. There. A little bit darker in this area. Like this, and the same thing here. We're just going to go and do some serious line work like this. Just loose. Keep it loose. We don't have to be precise, like we all know what a feather looks like at the ending, and no, these are open like this because we wanna show that these babies are moving. There, maybe we're going to define a little bit more the legs, maybe always a little bit thicker around there, around the joint. And this is going to go, see, now you can get a little bit heavy with your pencil. There. Okay. Same thing here, a little bit. You see, when you do this quick stroke like this also resembles more movement. There's nothing that well defined there, and that's important. You wanna do that if you wanna have that effect. And pretty much we have our dancing Sandhill cranes. Now I'm going to get my eraser. I always like to keep the eraser in a container. This is an old 35 millimeter film tube, and I like to keep it in there because it keeps it moist and tight. You see, it's loose. It doesn't, and clean at the same time. It doesn't get contaminated with anything else. So what I like to do always when I'm done here, just go over with my eraser and try to clean up, my space a little bit more. That way, it looks a lot more presentable, right? There. And of course, you can create backgrounds, but this lesson is about Sandhill cranes dancing. That way, how do we go about it? And mostly it's by using broken lines. So I have a Q-tip here. Maybe I can just blend a little of this, the darker areas, blend them a little bit. You see, to give you even more of an interesting tone. There, here the same way. There we go, and we have our Sandhill cranes. But what we're going to do now, before we call this sketch done, it remembers a sketch, and it looks like a sketch. That's why I like this, because they look like sketches. There. And I can go back with my eraser if I want to. If I want to create some, you know, sharper edges, I can just go like this. Create some sharper edges if I need to. Like that. Maybe this will be a little bit sharper. There. Same thing here, there, maybe. And here we can make this neck look a little bit sharper like that. The bottom should be lighter, so I'm going to make it lighter. There. Same thing here. There. So there you go. We got our dancing crane all done. And like I said, for, you know, if you want some background, you know, you can make in maybe there in a pond or something like that with there's some lilies or something like that, and you know, they can be dancing there. Then you can darken the background if you want to, whatever you want to do. But that is how we go about doing dancing cranes. And remember, yes, the key to it is just to keep it loose. Don't get too concerned with all the details. Just keep it loose, okay? And of course, enjoy the process. That is a big part of it. So remember to look at my free class that I'm offering to you, and also check my videos. And if you like this one, of course, a nice thumbs up would be beautiful, and subscribe. And I will be seeing you next time. Goodbye.